Shut your mouth, broadcasting. First round draft pick. Believe we got stats, kid. Quarterback sacking, 100-yard dashing. So tap in for the action. What teams got traction? What teams are losing? Franchises ruined. Fans in the stand booing. Playing.
Welcome to the Sim Podcast Show. I'm your co-host Eric, and I'm always joined by a co-host Ron. What up, Ron?
What's going on?
You know what we do in this show? We talk about the NFL, and we just had week 1. Ron, what were your surprises? Just how you felt the whole week?
I felt great. I was pumped up, amped. I had a great weekend. I know you didn't get to watch any college football, but football dominated my weekend. So it started off with college football on Saturday, and then I was glued to the TV all Sunday, obviously, watching the NFL.
Okay, I'm gonna get on my soapbox about college football, and you agree or you disagree with me on this one. But the college players are not getting paid all the gazillions and millions of dollars that the athletic director makes, that the coach makes, that the school alumni sent in.
They're making more. The top athletes are making more than the coaches.
Okay, but why not everyone? If you're 18 and you can provide for your family, you should not be used as a pawn in the college football scheme. All those commercials, those Pepsi ads, those root beer ads.
Do they use?
Yes, they use all that.
They use the team information. I don't know if they use player
information. If it goes to the CBS, ABC, NBC, and they work into the contracts, so it's all big money. So
because of that, you ain't watching.
I ain't watching.
That is ridiculous. You're missing some good football games.
You know what? They're not getting my time. They're not getting my money. That's just it. That's where I stand. I will not watch it.
You're dug in.
Yeah, but let's talk about Sunday. What were your surprises about Sunday?
Not too many surprises, to be honest. Looking at these scores, if anything, Philly almost losing to Detroit, giving up 35 points to Detroit's offense. That was kind of a surprise, but they held on to win. I know a lot of those points, some of it was garbage time at the end, but I thought Philly's defense was going to be much more dominating, and it was kind of surprising to see them give up so many points.
Yeah, 35 points to the Lions, that's a lot. This is, when we did the Oakland special, I was looking at this team. It was between Chicago and the New York Giants, and I have no idea why I didn't go with Chicago. I know they were playing the 49ers, but Trey Lance.
I told you, both of those picks would have been good. I don't have faith in Trey Lance. I thought Justin Fields, the way he looked in the preseason, and this being his third year now, he was going to take a little bit of a leap. And it's not that they played perfectly or anything. The weather conditions were terrible, but I have no faith in the 49ers whatsoever. I think they're going to be back at Garoppolo at some point this season.
Yes, I agree. I think so too. The other team was the Houston against the Colts, Indianapolis. I know they ended up in tie. Yeah. But Houston was winning most of that game. What happened?
I didn't get to watch much of this, but I know Houston, they're a tough team, right? They, you might have a better roster than them, but coaching-wise, they just always play hard. And David Mills is a good quarterback, too.
He is a good quarterback.
I don't think he gets enough respect, but I think this says more about Indianapolis, to be honest with you. They haven't looked that well in the preseason. A lot of people expected them to be good in a playoff caliber team. Right now, they're showing me that they're going to be on the outside looking in.
Yeah, Matty Ice didn't have a great game as opposed to David Mills. And I was here last week talking about Lovie Smith this and Lovie Smith that, but he's actually a pretty good coach. And I forgot about the Chicago days. And I was thinking all about the Tampa Bay days where he was not so good. Mm-hmm. So there were a lot of week 1 surprises. Or at least, those teams that we thought were going to be bad ended up winning outright, right?
Yeah.
The Giants, Chicago.
Yeah, the upset specials that we picked, those worked out pretty good. I guess the other score that was a little bit surprising, if we go back to Thursday, was Buffalo just putting a beat down on the Rams. Buffalo, and we'll get into predictions here in a minute, but Buffalo to me is one of the best teams in the AFC. But for them to just dominate the Rams like they did was a little bit surprising.
Well, you know what? Let's do it. Let's just say, because week 1, we didn't mention our Super Bowl picks.
Mm-hmm.
So let's just say, who do you have in the Super Bowl and then winning the Super Bowl?
Yeah, so this one is going to be close for me, especially in the AFC. I'm going between Buffalo and the Chargers, but I think I'm actually going to go with the Chargers here because they did enough against the Raiders this week to impress me. That defense is ridiculous. And it's not going to be easy to beat Buffalo, obviously, to get by Buffalo or Kansas City. Kansas City looked really good too. But I'm going to go with the Chargers out of the AFC. And then the NFC, I honestly couldn't tell you. I don't think Tampa's going to be there. I had no faith in Green Bay. Well, they usually start slow. To me, it's the Eagles. I'm sticking with them, even though I just said they gave up 35 points, which is a little bit alarming. I think they'll figure things out on defense throughout the season. And once they start playing to their potential on defense, and Jalen needs to, they score 38, but he needs to get a little bit better too with his accuracy. If they can turn those things around, I think they could make a run for the Super Bowl. So I'm going to go with Eagles, Chargers.
Who do you have winning, though?
Wow. I'm going to go with Chargers. I think quarterback play makes the difference. And, Herbert is one of the top, I'd say 3 or 4 quarterbacks in the league. So I'd have to go with the Chargers.
At first I like Buffalo. I think week 1, there's a lot. Listen, before it used to be 4 weeks of preseason, now it's 3. And still week 1 there, I don't feel like they're ready. Might be 2 weeks, 3 weeks until they're ready. But I'm actually going to go with the Chiefs in the Super Bowl coming out of the AFC. I just really like the Chiefs. And then I think I'm going to go with Tampa in the NFC. I know you're down on them, but I feel like they can fix whatever's broken. And as long as they keep Brady upright, they have a chance. I know with the Packers, they start out slow, so they're going to be in the mix for sure. I don't know who's coming out the NFC East. I still like Philadelphia, but that defense gave up a lot of points to Detroit.
Yeah.
Again, that's a week 1 overreaction, but
yeah.
I really like Tampa. And then who I have winning it between the Chiefs and Tampa, which would be a rematch, right?
Mm-hmm.
And Tampa beat them the first time around.
Yep.
I think the Chiefs are going to win this time around.
Okay.
So I think they have the Chiefs winning it all in the Super Bowl.
Lock it in.
Lock it in. All right, so let's go to our news real quick because there's a lot of key injuries that we're going to talk about. Let's start out with Dak Prescott. They say he's going to be out 4 to 6 weeks.
Broken. He had surgery already, right? So broken thumb on his throwing hand. So he's going to be out for a while. And I told you about Dallas. They haven't looked good. Their offensive line is an issue. Don't have enough weapons at receiver. They didn't obviously look good at all, even when Dak was playing. So they're in a world of hurt.
Yeah, so who do you like now that Dallas is... I don't know if they're going to win a lot of games without Dak there. They say Cooper Rush or Cooper
Rush, yeah.
Cooper Rush is going to be the backup QB for the next 6 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I still don't think that they'll have a good enough record. I actually do see the Giants and Commanders kind of hopping over them. What do you think?
Yeah, I do. In these 6-7 weeks, and even the season, to be honest with you, Washington, they beat Jacksonville, a team that I'm high on. I don't know if you're going to get that sort of those stats, those numbers from Carson Wentz every year. He's hard to trust. And
I saw that game. Jacksonville did not play well.
No, they didn't. Disappointing for sure. I still think they're going to get to the Jaguars. Are going to get to 8 wins. But definitely a disappointment to start off the season that way. But going back to your question, I think can they hop Cowboys? Probably. They probably have, to be honest with you. Giants are an okay team. That team's going to go as far as Saquon and Daniel Jones takes. Saquon had a huge game. I told you when we did our podcast a couple weeks ago that actually when we were doing the review for the Giants, I think Saquon is the best running back when healthy in the league. He looked like it, when he played this week. He just has to stay healthy. And Daniel Jones, he's still up and down. But I think, in terms of are they better than the Cowboys? Yeah, I think so. Especially without Dak.
Yeah, I was never high on the Dallas Cowboys anyway, because there's a lot of hype with them. But the defense actually was pretty good. It was actually pretty good. I don't know if it's enough to win them games, but I think the Giants and Commanders are gonna definitely go by them.
Yeah, so I'm looking at our over-unders for the season, and it was 10.5. We both went under that for the Cowboys. So how far under now do you think they're going to be now that Dak's missing for 6+ weeks? How many wins do you think they end up with for the season?
I mean, I know Dak is going to come back because they have to. So if he's gone for the next 6 weeks, they might go 2-4. I don't know what their schedule is like. I don't know because I have to pick at it, but without Dak, I would say 2-4 until he comes back.
And how many wins do you think they get to? Because I can tell you when I did this, I was thinking, okay, maybe they'll get to 10 wins, and that's why I went under. But now, just looking at how they played, even with Dak, like I said, I think 7 wins, to be honest with you. As good as their defense is, 7 wins, 8 wins.
Yeah, I mean, they might go 500. I'll give them like a 9-8, 8-9 kind of season with Dak on. I just don't see it. Even though they're going to beat up some teams with that defense, I don't know if that defense, for example, is it going to score touchdowns? Is it going to score interceptions, turnovers, all that stuff? I don't know. I know they're going to have a lot of sacks, that's for sure. Yeah, I just 8-9 is hopefully what I'm saying is that they're capable of.
Yeah.
So definitely under. Any other team that you want to review real quick before we move on?
Not really. I think we can jump on our teams now at this point. I mean, looking at the score, there's no real surprises other than what we just spoke about. So we can move to our teams.
All right, let's start with the loser, which was the New England Patriots. And by the way, I am wearing my Teddy Bruschi jersey because week 2 is going down. But week 1, it was not going down. They lost to the Miami 20-7. Ron, I don't know if you watched this game. I saw this game. And at the beginning, the offense looked pretty good. They were moving the ball. The run game looked good. But then the offensive line just started doing its thing. It was like they came with the blitz, and Miami loves to blitz, and it just went downhill. What was your opinion?
I thought they would lose. One, it's a tough draw beginning of the season, right? To play a Dolphins, a young, fast, really good defensive Dolphins team. It was a tough draw to begin with, but then you went into game 1 with a lot of questions on offense, not having a coordinator, not looking good through the preseason. So I'm not surprised, to be honest with you, that they lost. It could have been worse.
It was worse because they didn't score any points in the first half. 0. So I was like, they already went down 17-0 by halftime. And I was like, I don't know if the game is winnable anymore. I wasn't giving up on the game, but by halftime, I was like, it was a labor of love that they scored those 7 points.
Yeah. And, as good as Miami was, they only put up 20 points. Looking at Tua's numbers right now, they're okay. But you put a above average quarterback with those weapons that they have on offense, they're going to put up 30 plus points against any defense. So
And there were times where Tua wanted to like give the game away.
Yeah.
There was a couple of passes that were ill-advised that nobody would ever throw them.
Mhm.
And there were some times that I think he fumbled the ball once and he recovered it. But I was like, wow, Tua is like a spy.
Yeah. He so the one long touchdown, was it to Waddle, I believe,
Yeah.
the slant pat. You're an NFL quarterback, you're supposed to make that
You're
throw.
supposed to make that
That
throw.
was all Waddle, you know,
Yeah.
his breakaway speed. Then the one throw to Tyreek Hill, the jump ball, that's Tyreek Hill. That's what he does, right? So that's a horrendous throw. He shouldn't even make that throw at all. Tua is, you know, he's Tua. But I think the guys around him, they have so much speed on offense. The running backs are really good too. They're gonna, you know, they're gonna have a decent season. I just don't see them making a huge run in the playoffs or anything like that at all.
So do you see them making the playoffs? You don't see them making a huge run.
The Dolphins,
Yeah.
yeah. The Pats, you know, my mind has not been changed. I said they're gonna miss the playoffs this year. I think how many wins did I give them? I think I gave them I want to say 7. Let me check. No, I gave them 8 wins. So nothing that I saw makes me feel any different. I think they'll get 8 wins still, but I think they're going to fall short.
Well, I love it. I love the fact that you don't think we can make the playoffs, and week 1 you already determined that this is it for them.
I was determined week 1 preseason, actually.
Well, we're going to talk about the Steelers in a bit. Don't worry about it. The next team that actually won, you got this one wrong, was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Yeah.
Which 19-3, it could have been worse. They were knocking on the door a couple of times. They just couldn't get it in.
Yeah.
What did you like about this game, and what didn't you like about this game?
I don't think there was anything I really liked other than Fournette. The way he ran the ball, he looked really good. There's a lot of stuff I didn't like. Obviously, we can spend an hour talking about Dallas and how awful they looked. But for the Bucs, and you know, I told you, I think they're going to have a down year. And even with a win here, there was nothing great about the performance. I think on offense, scoring 19 points against Dallas. Brady was, he was upset at his offensive line, trying to see how many sacks he took. It looks like he took 2. There was a lot of quarterback pressures and stuff. And yeah, Dallas, their D line is good and stuff. Don't get me wrong. But I told you, the chemistry of the O-line and pass protection, especially, that's something that Brady's not going to settle for. You have to be good. And I think there were some moments where the frustration was starting to show. And I think that's going to continue unless that somehow he's able to make that gel within the next few weeks or so.
Well, I think that Tampa, they had 152 yards rushing. So it was like their game plan was, we're going to stick it, we're going to stuff it to the Cowboys defense, which they did. Fournette, 121, that's tremendous. And I think that Julio Jones looked really good. He is going to look good the first 6 weeks, and then he's going to get hurt. Evans looked good. Everything was thrown to his way. He caught it. I think that the offensive line woes will get fixed. And this was probably one of their best defense that they're going to face. So it wasn't like if you were Tampa Bay fans, you hit the panic button. You just say,
No, but you are worried. Because again, this team, the defense is great, don't get me wrong, but you're used to them putting up a lot of points. That didn't happen this week. Now, Godwin is hurt again. He already came to the game iffy, and he's hurt again. So those are things that you're going to be a little bit concerned about for sure.
Yeah, I think there's stuff to be concerned about, but again, a win is a win, whether it was ugly or pretty. I'm glad it was the Cowboys because I hate the Cowboys. All right, let's talk about the Steelers. Ron, you picked the Steelers to win. I picked them to lose. This game went into overtime. The score at halftime was 17-6. How were you feeling at that point?
excited. I thought, honestly, at halftime, I thought the game was over. I was already putting stuff out on social media that was basically over. I thought our offense was going to be able to move the ball a lot better. And I thought the defense would continue to really pin their ears back and get after Joe Burrow. So nothing surprised me about the way our defense played. I told you when we were healthy, and that's a big if. This is one of the top defenses in the league. They played like it this year. Minka, I told you, the top 5 safety in the league. I don't know why people keep sleeping on him. He's a huge playmaker for our team. He was able to play, back more in the secondary. We didn't have to rely on him to make tackles. Even the guys that I was a little concerned about on defense, like Devin Bush, played well. So defense didn't surprise me. Offense, I wanted a little bit more. Trubisky missed some passes. The play calling to me was atrocious at times. But, it's a work in progress. The offensive line, we talk about them real quick. 1 sack, I think they gave up. They looked good. Not with the run. They didn't generate a lot of holes, a lot of push running the ball. But in terms of pass protection, I thought they were pretty good. They're much better than how they looked in the preseason for sure.
Yeah, your guys rushed for 75 yards while Cincinnati rushed for 133. That sounds like a lot. 133. I know you lost Watt, but that was at the end of the game. Mm-hmm. So why did you give us so many rush yards?
It was 82 on 27 carries to Joe Mixon. He did nothing. A 3.0 average. Took almost 30 carries to get there. And then the rest was all Joe Burrow. He scrambled and made plays. He got 47 yards. So we got to do better to keep him in the pocket for sure. A lot of that happened towards the end of the game. That's why they were able to get back into it. But I'm pleased with our run defense. They were all over the field making plays. So they for sure look good.
Minka led the team with tackles again. Listen, when you face the Pats next week, you're not going to have 47 yards from Mac Jones. That's just not his forte. Mm-hmm. So you lost Watt. So now what? What is the defense? What are you going to do for a rush?
I'm not really worried about losing. A lot of people are panicking. One, we got some good news today. Doesn't require surgery. They probably put him on short-term IR. Probably back in like 5 or 6 weeks. So that's great news. But I'm not. There's more to this defense than TJ Watt. It's he makes the weighty plays like Mike Tomlin says. But our guys played well. Hayward played well. Alex Highsmith, 9 tackles, 6 solo, 3 sacks, 2 tackles for loss. He had his best game. I've been waiting for him to blow up. I thought he was going to blow up last year. It looks like it's finally starting to click for him. And then I think collectively as a unit, our defense is going to be solid with or without TJ Watt.
Yeah, I knew that the defense was going to be good as soon as Flores came into the picture. Mm-hmm. This is one game that your defense basically won because if you don't get that touchdown from Minka, you actually lose this game because you didn't get to 7 points.
Well, I don't know about that. A lot of people might say that, but play calling is different, right? You play to, and this is the thing with the Steelers that bother me, situational football. Tomlin talks about that a lot. When they get up like 10 points, they start to relax a little bit too much. I think that's what happened. So if Minka doesn't get that return, then I think if they open up the offense a little bit more, they go no huddle a little bit more, get into a better flow. They just tend to play down, not play down to the kind. They play very passive on offense, and they try not to lose games. Same thing we saw last year. Do whatever you can, just not to lose the game on offense, and that's what we saw this week. So I am concerned. We got to change our attitude a little bit, be a little bit more aggressive. But I think hopefully they see that when they go back and look at film and they make some adjustments throughout the week.
All right, Ryan, and this was your upset special. So you actually picked the Steelers to beat the Bengals. So it was like a double whammy for you because your team won, and you got it in the upset special.
Yeah. I don't know why people count the Steelers out. I don't know what else we need to do for people to realize, we might not be a great team on offense, but you cannot count out our defense. You can't count out Tomlin, and you certainly can't count out Flores as well. So any game that they play, they're going to have a chance to win. And I thought beginning of the season, Bengals not playing at all this preseason.
Yeah,
with their starters,
just sat down.
Their offensive line being completely new. How many sacks do we have this game? We had 7 sacks. I told you Cincinnati's offensive line against our defensive line is going to be a struggle. Watch for that the rest of the season with some other teams that they face too. So,
well, I think that's coaching because that offensive line for Cincinnati is full of studs. So it's not that they have bad players, it's that they have bad coaching. Because when you have studs in your offensive line, you can't say, well, they suck.
I wouldn't say they're studs. I think they're okay. I do think it takes time for them to gel. And with them not really playing a lot in preseason, that didn't happen. You talk about coaching. A lot of people say their coach is a good coach. He made some boneheaded decisions this game. And that's probably why they ended up losing. One, they didn't challenge the Jamar Chase touchdown. That would have been a touchdown for sure if they did. And then they kicked off at the end, without letting the clock run down and giving Steelers a lot of time coming out the field. So those are some coaching mistakes that they got to fix. But yeah, the line is going to take some time, to get better. Offensive line play around the entire league looked horrendous, not surprisingly.
No, I didn't. The other upset special, I couldn't make up my mind between Chicago and New York Giants, and I went with the Giants, and it was actually a good pick because they won the game by 1 point. What impressed you about the Giants for this game, Ron?
The running game. Saquon, is back. He looks healthy. He looks like he did his rookie season. And when you have him in your backfield, you're going to have some long runs, which he had, I think, two or three decent, 20-plus yard runs.
He had 164 yards rushing compared to Derrick Henry, who I picked as a comeback player. Yeah, he only had 82 on less carries. Mm-hmm. So they definitely ground and pound or pound and ground. But what really kind of the Giants, 5 sacks is kind of a lot. Mm-hmm. 5 sacks. Daniel Jones didn't look great. He was average, I would think. He didn't hit the 200 mark passing. So I don't know. I still think that they're only going to win 5 or 6 games for the year. And you?
Yeah, because I think there's still some other deficiencies. I'm looking at the receiving yards or receptions. Who led him in receptions? Saquon Barkley did. 6 receptions for him. Next guy was Richie James with 5. So, yeah, they got some deficits on the team on offense. The receiver position for sure, and then their defense, they're okay. They're not great. So, I think they'll find a way to win games. They'll find a way to lose some games. I think I'm not changing my prediction with them winning less than 5 games, I think it was.
Yeah, I think that when we do our upset specials for week 2, we'll definitely get into a little bit more. So let's go to week 2 because week 2 has an interesting matchup. We're going to start out with Bucks at the Saints. This is going to be a Sunday afternoon game. Right now, who's favored to win this game?
So the Bucks are favored by 3.
Okay. I don't know. What did I pick? I think I picked that the Saints are going to win, and you did too, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so I don't...
Let me go back. Let me just validate.
Yeah.
I know for sure I picked the Saints. to win. It looks like you did too. So we had the Bucks losing, both of us.
And so the Saints won, right? They won against Atlanta.
Yep.
Did they look great winning though?
Second half they did. First half, I don't know what exactly happened in the first half, but I think they decided to turn it on. They barely won. They won by a point. But Atlanta is going to be a little bit better too with Mariota than people are, I think, giving them credit for. But yeah, the Saints, they were good, and they give Bucks fits. So they got the Bucks number. So it's going to be hard, especially again with how they looked. So against Dallas, especially with their offensive line. The Saints should win this game.
But do you think the Saints defense is better than the Dallas defense?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I still think that the over and under is kind of high. It's at 44 points. I don't know if they're going to get to that. I think it's going to be kind of like the Dallas game where it's just a slugfest at 1st. Because Kamara is not going to be there, right?
No, I think he's playing.
He's playing?
Let me check the box score just to make sure.
Well, they haven't listed as questionable. That means he's probably playing. But I don't think there's going to be a lot of running, at least from the Saints side. Unless, again, Kamara's a playmaker, so they give him the ball in space, he'll do fine.
Right.
I still think that Tampa Bay will lose this game. What's your final score prediction for this game?
Yeah, I'm going to go lower scoring for sure. I want to say Saints 22 and Bucks 17.
22-17. I don't even think that they that high. I think look, did you see the Saints 22 and the Bucks 17?
Yeah.
I don't think it's even gonna go that high. I think that they're gonna struggle at first to score. Then the second half is gonna be kind of a outburst of point. But I think it could be like a 13-20. I think they barely hit the 35 points. But New Orleans definitely wins this game. All right, so here's a matchup of the week. We'll be at this game in person.
Yes.
And I gave you till yesterday midnight to back out of our wager.
I think that was your way of saying, please back out because I don't have faith in my team. I think that's what you were trying to tell me.
Okay. So Pittsburgh with no Watt, no Harris.
Harris is playing.
Harris is playing?
Yeah, he's so X-rays came back negative. Tomlin said we got to see him practice and stuff this week, but he told the media, listen, I'm going to practice and I'm going to play. Now, whether or not he's at 100%, I don't know. He didn't look like he was 100% when he started the game. So, but he's going to, I'm sure, give it a go. He wants to be out there, so he's going to play.
So he's going to play. Mitch Trubisky looked shaky.
I wouldn't say he looked shaky. He missed some throws that we need him to connect. And if he keeps missing those throws, Kenny Pickett will be in there pretty soon.
Oh, the Kenny Pickett comes out fast. All right, yeah. So, and you already gave us a score. You already gave us the final score.
I did?
Yes. Oh, you did? Oh, you forgot?
What did I say? I remember I said... I'm sorry to remember now.
Now you remember.
What was the score I gave?
You said Pittsburgh will score 24 points.
Okay.
And New England score 16.
Yeah.
That's what you said.
Lock it in. Sounds about right. Lock it in. 24-16. I'm going with it.
First of all, I'm going to say that you don't get to 24 points.
We'll get 7 points from our defense, one way or another.
No, I don't. I think that the mistakes are going to be cleaned up. I think still Matt Patricia is going to be calling the plays, which kind of worries me, but that's okay. I think that the defense will shore up, and I don't see a 10-point because right now it's in Pittsburgh favored by 1.5 for some
1.5.
Yeah,
it's really close.
So right now we're the underdogs, and I'm going to say that the underdogs. This is going to be a 17-13 win. Lock it up.
17
New England
to 13.
scores 17 points, It's going to be a close game. It's going to be a close game. I still think that we pull it off. Again,
Well, it's good. I'm glad you have faith in your team. I'm glad you have faith.
it's not faith. It's that we have a better quarterback. That's what it comes to.
Let's not go crazy now, okay? Even with Trubisky playing, I think they're pretty close to each other, to be honest with you. And it's not just going to be about the quarterback. I think, I don't think you guys can be able to run against us. Like I said, I think our run defense is going to be solid. I don't know if your offensive line's going to hold up as well against us compared to how well you held up against Miami. So that would be a little bit concerning. And then for us, how well are we going to run the ball? I don't know. That's a question mark. And are we going to be conservative on offense? I don't know. That's a question mark.
There's a lot of question marks.
There are, there's question marks on both sides, but
No, there's question marks on the Steelers side.
there's definitely question marks with your bad back quarterback, okay?
No,
So
no,
he's taking a couple of
He
leaves.
interviewed already and said, they asked him, he said, hey, I'm feeling good.
Yeah. What is he supposed to say?
That
I'm
what he
feeling
said-
good.
what
I'm
he
not in
said.
Miami, and I'm getting my ass whooped by Tua and the Dolphins. Right? I feel good that we're going into a different week.
So you think Tua is worse than Mitch?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know
absolutely.
about that. I think that Tua is a little bit better than Mitch.
Are you out of your mind? Are
Hey.
you crazy?
He just started for the Miami Dolphins,
So what?
and he got weapons around him.
Okay. What's that have to do with his play versus Trubisky?
Listen, he's I'm not saying he's commendable. He's maybe low than commendable, but I think
You were dogging him just last week.
we're going to compare it to Mitch.
Okay. All right. Well, listen. We have a bet already, right? Like, why don't you tell our listeners what our bet is for this game?
Yeah, I'll tell him. Basically, I'm having steak and eggs on
All
Monday
right.
morning.
Okay.
I'm
you
having
are,
steak and
because
eggs
you're paying for
on,
yourself and
on
myself.
Ron's tab.
Yeah.
Steak
you're
and
paying
eggs.
for both of us. So yeah, you are having steaks and eggs. But we can make some other wages too, right? You want to talk about who plays better? Trubisky or Mac Jones? We can make quite a few bets this game. I'm confident.
I mean, I
that
would
the Steelers gonna
go
win.
on the. I would. This would not be going out on the limb if I say that Mac is going to play better than Mitch.
I think that is going out on a little bit of a limb.
Okay, then. What do you want to? More yards? Do you want QB rating? What do you want to go on? Because Mac will play better than Mitch.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
No, just tell me now what you want to. What's your parameter so that I know?
QB rating, I think Trubisky, well, I think they'll both be good. I don't know if we could just look at QB rating. Let's look at yards throwing.
Yards
how many
and-
yards and touchdowns?
Yes, yards and touchdown. Okay,
Right.
so you say Mitch, I say Mac. Okay, so that's one. So
Mhm.
what do you want to wager on? You want to wager a $16 beer? What do you want to?
Well, for that, how about when we do our next podcast next week,
Yeah.
you wear a Steelers jersey. And if I lose,
I will search the web.
No, I'll let you.
No, because if I lose this, I want to wear a Mitch Trubisky T-shirt at least. I don't know if they make them. That's the thing.
They
Is that
do.
how
They do. They do. They have
And
jerseys
if
too.
they make a Mac Jones T-shirt, you're gonna be wearing
That's
a Mac
fine.
Jones
That's why I like Mike Jones.
Okay.
I think he's a good quarterback. I just don't think, I think they're both good. Let me put it that way. Is he better than Trubisky? I don't know. I think they're both about even. Regardless, it's not just going to be, this game ain't going to be just about the quarterbacks. It's going to be about their offensive line. It's going to be about their defense.
It's gonna be a whole
special
deal.
teams, the whole deal. And this 1.5 is exactly a point. It's a pick'em game.
Yeah, it is. A pick-em.
But listen. Am I 100% confident in the Steelers winning? No. I expect the offense to play a little better. They have to win the game. They can't rely on their defense just to make every single play. So if they can just put together, 14, 17 points on offense, and I think they'll score on defense or special teams, then I'm happy with that. I think they win the game.
Yeah, I don't think you'll get 4 interceptions like you did Joe Burrows. I think
No,
I
we
think
won't.
Joe Burrow didn't play in the preseason.
Mhm.
this is his preseason, and I don't think Mac Jones, even if he throws one interception, he'll get chewed out in the sidelines. I don't know if it's going to be Joe Judge or Matt Patricia, but someone will chew him out. Let's go to our week 2 upset specials. There were a lot of picks. I'm gonna go because this is kind of very, very high. So Green Bay Chicago is 10.5 points.
I looked at that.
Green Bay, I don't think they're ready yet. They will at some point. I don't think they're ready yet. So I'm outright picking Chicago. I missed them last week. I think that they have something going on, especially at home, right? The over and under is 42 points. So I do see Chicago winning this game like a 21 or 24-17. That is going to be my upset special of the week. Chicago over Green Bay, 24-17.
Yeah, listen, this is some critical games this week. The first one I saw that I was like, wow, Raiders versus Cardinals. Loser of that game is 0-2. And right now, they got the Raiders favored by 6. Is that right? No, it's 4.5, it looks like. So yeah, Raiders favored by 4.5 from what I'm seeing. I don't know who's going to win that game. I think the Raiders are a good team. I think they ran into a freight train with the Chargers, and I think they're going to bounce back. But it's hard also to see the Cardinals going 0-2, so I'm not going to touch that game. I am going to go
and
to
we both went under with the Cardinals in Arizona. 10 games is a lot. I just don't think that Arizona is a good team. I don't like the coach.
I think they're a decent team. I just don't think they're a team that could make a run in the playoffs and get to the Super Bowl, especially without Hopkins playing right now. So, with his suspension, I'm gonna go back to Jacksonville. The Colts are favored by 4. Right? Yeah, the Colts are favored by 4, over under 46.5. I'm not sure where this game's at, but Jacksonville, I know they didn't look good. They lost against Washington. I think the defense is better than what they showed. I'm going to go Jacksonville winning this game. And offensively, Jacksonville offense looked pretty decent. Kirk had, I want to say, 13 or 14 Christian Kirk catches. He looked really impressive. So I think they'll be able to score. I'm going to go 27 to 17. And I think they're going to win pretty impressively.
You think Jacksonville can score 17 points on the Colts?
No, they're going to get 27. Indy's going to get 17. Jacksonville's going to win.
Yeah, 27 points, right? On Jacksonville?
Yeah.
So you like the offense that much on Jacksonville?
I do. I think it's better. I think between both of their running backs, looking really good, and then Christian Kirk. I talked about him already. He's a solid receiver. He's impressive. I think they're going to score, and even against Washington, who has a pretty decent defense, they still put up 22 points. So I don't know if the Colts defense is as good as the Washington Commanders defense, so I don't see an issue with them getting to 27 points. Now, Trevor Lawrence, and pulling up his numbers, 24 of 42 for 275 and a touchdown. Did have a pick though, and he didn't run much. Only 2 carries for 4 yards. That's a part of his game that I think he needs to display a little bit more. But yeah, I think if Jacksonville is going to be the team I think a lot of people are expecting them to be, they're going to have to go in and beat the Colts.
Now, I want you to make a promise for me. If Jacksonville loses this game, please get out the Jacksonville.
I will. If they lose this game, especially if they lose by giving up like 25 plus points on defense, then I'm jumping off the hype train.
Yeah, because I think that the Colts, they tied with Houston. It was kind of embarrassing that even though Houston looks like a pretty good team, I would think that the Colts would run away with that game. So I expect the Colts to come back with a vengeance. Especially, I think, is this game at home?
I believe so. I'm not sure.
Yeah, double check, because I feel like I like the Colts coach, and I like Matty Ice. I definitely like Jonathan Taylor. I think that they should come back with a vengeance. So,
this game's in Jacksonville.
In Jacksonville, yeah, I still feel like they should come back with a vengeance, especially against Houston. So now, let's say hypothetically Jacksonville wins this game. Indianapolis is 0-2 now. Oh, at least 1-1 because of a tie. Can they still beat the Titans? Because the Titans lost.
Can the Colts beat the Titans?
Yeah, because we don't know. We both agree that the AFC South is like a pickles, right?
Yeah, it is. And I told you I'm a little bit down on the Titans. I think their defense is really good. I'm a little scared about Tannehill, how he looked at the end of last season. I think this is, I think the Titans take a step back, and you're going to see some Malik Willis at some point this year. But the Colts have not been impressive either at all since the preseason. So they scare me too. I think both of these teams could be like 500, playing around with like 500 this year.
Yeah, I definitely see like somebody with 8 or 9 wins winning that division. I don't see somebody else coming up in a playoff spot.
No.
But again, this week everyone is either a tie or a loss during week 1. So it's it's whatever you want to see. So just to review, we have both picked New Orleans to win over Tampa. You have Pittsburgh 24-16, and I have New England 17-13. My upset special is Chicago winning over Green Bay 24-17, and your upset special is Jacksonville over Indianapolis 27-17. So we got the week 2 predictions down. I'm gonna do a little bit of business right now. So I want to tell our guests that if you want to support us, I'm going to put the link for our Patreon page. Support us. There's different tiers. This all costs money and time. So I'm going to say support it. We're going to do a podcast that Saturday night in Pittsburgh. We're going to do a part 1, and then we're going to do a part 2 after the game. We're not going to post it right away, but we are going to post it on Patreon, and eventually we will post it on our regular page. Again, we don't want to see Ron crying.
Yeah, I was about to say, if Siric's crying, I'm posting that immediately.
And I want to say this. If you want to see the video of our shenanigans, you can also go to our Instagram account, the same podcast. There we will have tons of videos, take some behind the scene pictures where we're staying, because it's a nice hotel. It's got a beer garden. So yeah, all of that you'll be able to see on our Instagram account.
Yeah, first time for me in Pittsburgh. What about you?
I've never been to Pittsburgh. I've been to Philadelphia once. I've always driven right by Pennsylvania. So I'm excited about that.
Yeah, it's going to be great. And we got our buddy who's a Bears fan coming down.
Yes, so it's going to be a 3 people podcast that night. Even though he doesn't have a dog in the fight, he's a Bears fan. But I will tell him that I'm picking Chicago over Green Bay, so he'll be happy about that.
Yeah, that's true.
Anything else that you want to add for our listening viewers?
That's it. Thanks again, for all the support for sure. Continue to tune in, give us feedback. And then definitely support Siric as he goes through his loss this weekend. And he's going to need all the support he can get. So
listen, If the game is as close as I say it's going to be, then great. But if it's a blowout, and
I don't see a blowout either direction.
well, if the offensive line does the whole thing again where they're just not gelling, then I'm going to be in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be trouble. So we definitely need this win, and I think that we are going to win.
0-2, not a good place to be.
Well, we did 1-3 last year.
That's true.
People were jumping off.
Well, but you finished with 7 wins. How many wins you got last year?
7 wins.
9?
What?
9
10.
wins? 10? Oh,
10
okay,
wins.
Excuse me.
Yeah, more than you guys. So I don't know what you're saying.
One more than us.
You got a tie.
Yeah, with Detroit. That should have been a win. But whatever.
We got more wins. Still 17-13, New England on top. With that said, I say peace.
Peace out, guys. Hey, guys. Thanks again for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. If any questions or comments, feel free to hit us up on shutyourmouthpodcast@gmail.com. That's shutympodcast@gmail.com. You can also hit us on Twitter or on Instagram @SYM Podcast. Thanks again.